Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, welcome to the Schaeffler press briefing at the IAA 2019. I'm Thorsten Möllmann. I'm responsible for global communications at Schaeffler Group. And next to me is our CEO, Mr. Klaus Rosenfeld, and our automotive OEM CEO, Matthias Zink. Now, I'd like to point out that after the presentation, you have the chance to ask questions, and as to our guests on the internet, please use the Q&A tool. Because of the tight schedule, I'd like to give the floor to our CEO, Mr. Klaus Rosenfeld. Thank you, Mr. Möllmann. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you very warmly to our small press briefing at the Schaeffler booth at the IAA. Today, in a very brief talk, which will take no more than 15 minutes, I want to explain to you how we at Schaeffler want to make a contribution in order to make sustainability, to make mobility sustainable, and to design it in an innovative way. I'll give you an introduction, and then Mr. Zink will give you an upshot of what we have to offer in terms of innovation. We are an automotive and industrial supply. 2/3 of our business is automotive supplies. And as all of our customers and competitors, we're going through a transformation process that is second to none in our history. And we believe that you can cope successfully with this transformation process if you're good in both areas, innovation and sustainability. You have to be good in terms of, like with tennis, you have to be a good forehander and backhander. And in our automotive business, we differentiate two major areas of activity: the powertrain and the chassis. And as Schaeffler, for many years, we have developed as one of the leading suppliers on the basis of our transmission business and motor business, and we have entered the e-mobility business now, and we have notched up the first successes, but our chassis business is becoming ever more important, as you can see at the booth. The two acquisitions, Paravon and Electronic, the two companies are represented here too. They will offer us new opportunities. And this goes together with compact dynamics and e-mobility. We don't just want to grow through organic growth, but through targeted technology-driven acquisitions. And this has to do with our idea of how the world of the powertrain will develop in the next few years. Our vision is the powertrain of 2030, and what we think will happen with the chassis. Well, with the powertrain, we have a 30-40-30 scenario: 30% combustion engine, 30% battery electric vehicles in the middle, 40% the hybrid technology. We believe hybrid technology will be more than just a bridging technology. It will gain in importance in the next few years, and we are well positioned in all three fields in order to offer our customers added value. And when it comes to the chassis, what does it mean for the chassis? Our vision is a vision geared towards 2035, 60, 30, 10%. 60% will be automated chassis, level 1, 2, that's hands-on, hands-off. 30% will be the future level 3 and level 4. We believe this can be described as minds of the driver can read while driving, and that's fairly automated driving, and 10% will be purely autonomous driving. These are the scenarios that we envisage, and we want to offer something for all three fields, not just from the classic Schaeffler perspective, that is the wheel bearing, but we want to offer space drive, like in the case of the mover that you can see here. So we have a host of innovative ideas. Now I'll give the floor to Mr. Zink, who will tell you more about the details. The floor is yours. Thank you, Mr. Rosenfeld. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you too. And what is new at Schaeffler? What is not new is that, as always, we are dealing very much with the combustion engine. And what is new is that the manufacturers are now thinking about real driving cycles and real consumption. And this allows Schaeffler and our engine business to grow on the basis of new opportunities with new innovations in terms of the valve train and also in terms of heat management. Another not so new thing are the 40%. We believe in the hybrids, of course. What is new now is that this vision is coming true. There will be a very strong hybrid phase in the next few years. And because of this, we decided to develop a dedicated hybrid transmission that offers electric driving with both serially and with serial modes and in the parallel mode. You will see these transmissions on the market soon. But we don't just want to look at the transmission only. We're looking at the whole powertrain. So these transmission ideas will be combined with a fully variable valve train in order to really use the full resources of the technology. We can offer transmissions for the market, and we've proven this. We are the series supplier for the Audi Vectron for the electric variant, and we were proud participants in the launch ceremony of the Porsche Taycan in Zuffenhausen. So we are a transmission manufacturer, and we will go on further into making complete hybrid transmissions. What is very important for us is that we are open for different technologies. I'd like to speak up for this, and you can see this when you look at our main exhibit. We have different kinds of variants that we're showcasing here, or with combustion engines, 48 volt, high voltage, purely battery electric powertrains. And we have percentages, like what kind of a drivetrain I need, with what kind of a power source to fulfill the Paris Agreement targets, and we've translated this into a doable, realistic scenario. You can take a look at the example. So we're open to technologies. We're also dealing with storage technologies, also including the fuel cell, because I'm not sure whether the battery is the right kind of power storage, and we have different systems where we are competent. Because of this, we decided to also take on an important role in the field of fuel cell power storage. And what is also new is that at the end of the year, Schaeffler will also produce electric motors in series. Mr. Rosenfeld said that last year we reinforced ourselves with the Elmotec Statomat company. We used to have different competencies. We had series systems competencies in e-motors, and now we bought a plant manufacturer, not somebody with Me-Too competencies, but somebody who knows something about the most recent winding technology. And with the help of this acquisition of Elmotec, we will be able to make high performance electric motors that we will offer to the market as of next year. And on the left, you can see that all of these e-motors are highly integrated in terms of the application. You can see them on the left, with individual tooth winding or rod shaft winding. That's highly innovative. And this is one of the strengths of Schaeffler, going beyond the vertical value added process, and we are now ready for serious production. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may have wondered what the green carpet on the left is supposed to mean. When you follow the arrow, that will take you to our outdoors area, and there we have first for Schaeffler, that's the people mover that we are showcasing there. It will run autonomously, so within the limited space, so don't worry, nothing will happen, it's safe. So we don't want to sell people movers. That is not the message. But what we want to do is, and this is in keeping with the IAA, this year we want to deal with new mobility this year. There are two directions. On the one hand, we're saying that for our engineers, this is a way to come up with new ideas. On the other hand, we're dealing with the ecosystem. We're dealing with the ecosystem of mobility, how to control vehicles, how to hail vehicles. But what is more important is the products. In our chassis business, we want to grow more. We want to have wheel hub motors with 90-degree steering to offer new ideas to the market. We're building new vehicles we have a vehicle that is highly maneuverable, as you will be able to see outdoors. And this vehicle has already won the German Mobility Award. And this goes to show that there's much appreciation for the innovation that we're showcasing here. When it comes to the drivetrain and steering, this is highly innovative. And on the other hand, we acquired Paravan and Xtronic, and we started developments for steering and drive-by-wire for new mobility applications. By-wire is used earlier than with normal vehicles, in the logistics area, in trucks and other kind of commercial vehicles. I believe this is where the first level of autonomous driving will be seen soon, and the drive-by-wire technologies will soon enter the market. And for our engineers, this is a perfect test field to develop these products further. Now, we have taken this over from the Paravan companies. Millions of road kilometers have been driven by 3,000 vehicles that have approved drive-by-wire technology. They have been tested all over the world, and we're now developing this technology for large series developments. What you can see here are demonstrator vehicles. But in order to generate new ideas, we're using this in racing. We've been on a racetrack in a real car race, and I think we won third or fourth place. And this was a vehicle with a drive-by-wire vehicle, and it really achieved a competitive rank. This goes to say that this vehicle's technology is safe and can be used on actual roads. We're not limiting this to Germany or Europe, for that matter. Last week, we get together with the province Jinan in China, and especially the city of Changsha is taking on the leading role in China to implement autonomous driving with different kinds of vehicles, not just road vehicles, but also construction vehicles, street cleaning vehicles, and so on. It's a highly interesting area where at maximum speed and maximum commitment, this technology is being developed, and we're in the middle of intensive cooperation with that city, and I think soon we'll be able to bring you the news about this highly innovative market. So much for the news on what we're doing in terms of the powertrain and the chassis, and with the energy chain logic, with our scenario 30-40-30, referring to the powertrain, we have highly innovative solutions that we can offer, and you have seen this, and you can hear more after this meeting. With the people movers, with the new mobility, we have new ideas, new concepts to offer you, and we're very well equipped. Thank you very much, and we look forward to your questions. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Rosenfeld, Mr. Zink. Now on to the Q&A, and please mention your name and the company you're working for. Yes, please. Well, hello, Martin Fuchs from the Federal Association of the Foundry Industry. Now, I'm speaking, or I'm thinking about what this means for the foundry companies, what this switch in mobility means. Maybe you can tell us something about this. You know what kind of components you use. What does it mean for the foundry businesses? What kind of changes in the mix of materials will they have to cope with? Well, this is a highly specific question, of course. Maybe I can give you a more general answer, and Mrs. Zink will help me on this one. So I'll try to give you my strategic perspective. When dealing with sustainability, for instance, and we do that as Schaeffler Group, then we have to look at the full supply chain. We are one of the big purchases of steel. The main product we work with, the main pre-product, is made of steel, or is steel for that matter. And if we want to get ready for a sustainable environment, and we have to do this, we have to think about our suppliers. In the future, we will have to look out for suppliers who can really fulfill the sustainability targets that we need. So this is more important than the question of new materials. I don't think that you can actually replace steel with anything else. So we will continue to need foundries, but sustainability, energy efficiency, how will you deal with these issues? This will become an important benchmark. Any other questions in the room? Other than that, we have received an internet question, Mr. Rosenfeld. This is from the news. What kind of a mindset do you want to establish in the company in order to hold your own in the transformation process of the automotive industry? Well, as I said before, we believe that this transformation process is something you can manage if you're open to technology, if you're open to the rest of the world, and if you know about innovation processes. This is what we need in our company. Not every employee can do this at the same time, but we need a greater number of leaders who have this understanding and who can deal with these issues. And in the individual businesses where we are present, we need to look out for excellence. I think we're well prepared, and I think this transformation process has a certain length. It won't stop tomorrow. I feel well together with Mr. Zink and all of my colleagues that I'm working with, and this is a great task for the future. Any other questions? If not, there's another question from the internet from Mr. Zink. What differentiates the e-motor of Schaeffler from the e-motors of other manufacturers? Which e-products are in great demand right now? Now we have this special stick shaft winding motor, and we believe this will be the motor for the e-axle drives as far as the power density is concerned. And there's also the degree of innovation that is possible when you look at hybrid modules or hybrid drives. Then these are no patchwork material drivetrains where the e-motor is simply connected, but there is a merging of these elements, and we can create something that only we can. That will be a unique selling point for us. Another question, you keep talking about the strategic direction of going in the direction of hybrid systems. Isn't this just a transitional technology? Well, I see it as a transitional technology, but I think this is no problem because the transition will take 10 or 20 years. And this is what our scenario shows. We're still talking about the charging infrastructure. We're talking about the energy chain logic on the battery electric vehicle side. But I think we should really implement the hybrid phase, and that will then make us ready for the electric phase. We're not losing out on anything. We're getting ready for cooling, performance, and these things are as important for hybrid drives as for electric drives. We see this as a very long transition phase where we need reasonable technological solutions that make sense. I'd like to add to this. The electrification of the drivetrain is not a case of either or. You have to be present at the three scenarios that we mentioned, 30, 40, 30. That's our share. That's what our customers want, and that is what we as a supplier can offer. And I'd like to close with a book. There's a new book that Professor Gutzmann, a colleague from our board, published, The Electrification of the Drivetrain. And this is even interesting for those people who are not engineers. So I can highly recommend this book to you, The Electrification of the Drivetrain. We have a few copies for you, and use this to understand what will be happening in the future. Thank you for having been with us. And now I'd like to invite you to look at the displays of Schaeffler at the booth. Thank you for attending the press conference of Schaeffler. Thank you.